My parents are trying to control my love life, but I'm fighting back. I, 20AF, have known my boyfriend, 18M, since middle school. We became best friends in high school and were inseparable, as if we couldn't get enough of each other. Back then, it seemed like a simple friendship, but even from the start, there was a spark between us, something more than just friendship that made our hearts race every time we were together. I felt more alive in his presence, as if there was an intimate connection that was hard to ignore. We both graduated from high school, and when he was about to leave for college, it became impossible to hide our feelings anymore. There was this electric tension in the air, and in one moment, we confessed our love for each other. From that moment on, everything changed. We became more than just friends. I truly believe he could be the one. We have so much in common. We understand each other without words, and there is strong trust between us. He's the person with whom I can be myself, open up completely, without the fear of being judged or misunderstood. When things go wrong, we don't panic. We stand together, support each other, find balance, and resolve problems with care and respect. When we're together, there's more than just love. It's almost a palpable chemistry that draws us closer, even if we try to keep our distance. As for my parents, I knew from the start that they wouldn't approve of our relationship. When I first introduced him to them as just a friend, they didn't immediately express disapproval. My stepdad noticed how comfortable and open I was around him, but he remained indifferent. There was a hidden wariness in his gaze, as if he was trying to figure out what was really going on between us. My mom, on the other hand, showed subtle dislike right away. Once, when she thought I couldn't hear, I accidentally overheard her whispering to my stepdad, "He's not attractive enough for her." Those words felt like a punch to the heart. It was as if, for her, looks mattered more than what we truly shared. That's when I realized their opinions of me and my choices might be heavily skewed by their own stereotypes. I spent a lot of time with him and our mutual friends that summer. It was a time when I truly started to blossom. We grew even closer than ever before. Together, we discovered new sides of our relationship that felt both natural and exhilarating. I began to feel more confident and free in expressing my emotions and desires. For context, I rarely went out before this because I was always focused on my studies, and I didn't receive many invitations growing up. But that summer, I felt like I came alive. My heart beat faster, and every encounter with him was not only filled with laughter and conversations, but also hidden glances and gentle touches that sent warmth throughout my body. Everything was new and thrilling, as if we were just beginning to discover what it truly meant to be this close. One day, my mom asked me directly, "Are you dating him?" At that moment, it wasn't true yet, so I answered, "No." But deep inside, I knew I was hiding not just a potential relationship, but my first real love. I had tried several times to invite him to my place to play on my Switch, draw, or cook something fun together. But every time I mentioned it, my mom would scoff dismissively, as if my idea wasn't worth considering. It felt like she saw all my attempts as something insignificant, as if my life, my interests, and my feelings were unimportant. And every time, I felt that cold, judgmental gaze. Eventually, we started spending more time at his place, where I could be myself without worrying about what my parents might think. But everything changed when my stepdad asked to borrow my phone, supposedly to look in my shopping app to see if he could find a small sofa for my younger sister. I didn't think much of it and handed over the phone without concern. However, when he returned it, I noticed something odd. My Messenger app was open in the app history. I knew for sure that I had cleared it before giving him the phone. That's when it hit me. He went through my personal conversations. My heart dropped. I felt an icy chill inside. It was like an invasion of my most private space, where I kept my thoughts, emotions, and feelings that I only trusted with my boyfriend. Not long after, I accidentally overheard my stepdad whispering to my mom about what he had found in my messages. He was telling her how we were sharing our struggles with each other. I told him about how difficult college was for me, how I couldn't find a job, and how ashamed I was that I still hadn't gotten my driver's license. He confided in me about his family problems, his fears and anxieties. But what shocked my stepdad the most was that I had told my boyfriend how my mom had threatened to kick me out of the house. That was like a knife to my soul. Fear, shame, and anger, all mixed together. The next day, my mom approached me and asked, "Are you dating someone?" At that moment, I realized there was no point in hiding anymore, and I admitted that yes, I had a boyfriend. Her reaction was instant. You deserve better. She began talking about how I needed someone older, with a degree and a stable job. I could barely hold back my emotions when I replied, I don't want to date someone older, especially someone I barely know. People like that could turn out to be manipulators, or just take advantage of me. I've already dealt with men who left scars on my heart and soul. But my boyfriend? We've known each other for years, and I've learned to trust him. But that didn't convince her. I saw the coldness and disappointment in her eyes, as if everything I said was meaningless. My stepdad immediately jumped in, saying, Your boyfriend is distracting you from what's important, your studies and your future. He was right that I'm struggling. I failed my second semester of college and still don't know if I'll be able to return. I decided to confess to my parents that I failed a course, and I was terrified that I might lose my financial aid and not be able to stay in college. I quietly said that if nothing works out, I might transfer to a different college or a community college. I couldn't focus on my studies because the tension at home and the lack of personal space killed my motivation. I added, trying to hold back tears. They were disappointed. My mom said, You lied to us. And I knew it was true. The only person I fully trusted was my boyfriend, and that made them even angrier. My stepdad works tirelessly, thinking I'm doing well in college, while my mom takes care of my sister. But the reality is, I'm balancing helping around the house, looking for a job, and trying to keep up with school. My parents didn't understand why I was more open with him than with them. But every time I tried to talk to them, I was either judged or ignored, and that's what pushed me away. It felt like every step I took was criticized and turned into gossip fodder for relatives or neighbors. Now they're demanding that I break up with him. They say I can stay friends with him, but I'm not allowed to date until I finish college, find a job, and move out. They're worried because they've seen some of my cousins make mistakes, dropping out of school, getting involved with the wrong people, or having kids too early. I understand their concern, but I'm determined not to repeat their fate. I know that if I see something wrong in my relationship, I'll break it off without hesitation. But so far, everything is only getting better. My stepdad made another harsh comment. Look at him, he's got a lot of problems and just piles them on you or creates even more trouble. There's some truth in his words. My boyfriend does carry a lot of weight on his shoulders, but I know for sure that he would never dump his problems on me. We support each other, but we're both capable of handling our own struggles. Still, I see that in my parents' eyes, none of this matters. What's important to them is what they consider right, and my feelings and experiences seem insignificant. Inside me, there's a storm of emotions: hurt, pain, fear, but also a determination to stand up for my feelings. I want my parents to understand that I'm not a child anymore, and I have the right to make my own decisions. But I'm afraid that no matter how hard I try to prove it to them, they'll still stick to their own views.